for allowing us to come together tonight, Lord. Continue to be with Potopoke Schools, Lord, as we lead this school in a way to honor you, Lord. Continue to be with our nation as we honor those that sacrificed themselves September 11th, Lord. Just thank you for all the many blessings you've given to us, Lord. Allow us to have a good evening. In your son's name, amen.
Amen. I think we're going to wait, right? Call the meeting to order?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. That works too.
All right. Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please. Yes, here.
Here.
All right. We have a quorum. Flag salute.
Yes. So we have Miss Lamb. She's going to introduce who she's got with them today, talk a little bit about them, and then they'll lead us in the flag salute.
Come on, guys. Good evening, board members, administrators, and guests. It is my pleasure this evening to introduce to you the members of the SEC Technology Students Association. Welcome Sydney Nowak, Anita Garrett, Rylan Toby, Garrig Snipes, and Creighton Clark. The Technology Student Association is a national organization devoted exclusively to the needs of students interested in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Open to students enrolled in or who have completed technology and education courses, TSA has a membership which includes 300,000 middle school and high school students across the United States. TSA is supported by educators, parents, and business leaders who believe in the need for technologically literate society. Last year, our SEC TSA students took first place in competitions ranging from children's short stories to medical technology and catapult design. They participated in a NASA in-flight downlink with the International Space Station, where they had the opportunity to speak with the first Native American woman in space, Commander Nicole Mann. This year, our chapter will be hosting the first ever TSA competition held in Poto. We are looking forward to the experiences for our SEC students in the years to come.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Well, next is recognition of guests, and before they take off, thank you all so much for coming, and it sounds like y'all have done a lot of neat things, and so we appreciate you, and we appreciate y'all being here tonight. I know we have a lot of other guests here today as well, and we appreciate everyone's willingness to be here and to show some support and some interest in what our local school is doing. Support Employee of the Month.
Perfect. So this will be a new presentation that we'll do once a month. So we will have different representation from the different sites. So we have 5 different sites, and we have a district group as well. So we'll have representation from all through the district. This will be once a month item. At the end of the year, there will be a $500 reward for our Support Employee of the Year. And every employee that gets this honor through the year will get a $50 gift card from Walmart. This is all based on First National Community Bank coming in, First National Bank coming in and sponsoring this award. So First National Bank is the sponsor, and we'll start with PKMS.
I would like to recognize Tiff Couch, who is our outstanding support personnel member, and she was nominated overwhelmingly at our site. She has only been at PKMS since last April, but she has contributed so much, and we are very grateful and excited to get to recognize her.
Hey, Dr. Gillen, the new secretary. Congratulations. Thank you very much. And we'll have both of you guys move over to this side, and then board. If we could, let's have you guys come around as well. So when they come on this side, and then when they get it, we'll have them shake your hand, move over there, and then at the end we're going to do a picture right here in front. So if y'all can come around, that'd be great. we'll get both groups into the picture. So if you want to shake their hands, feel free to do so. And in the future, we'll have them lined up ahead of time, so it'll work out better. And then you'll be back over here. And the next group is the high school, and this is Ms. Ballard coming up.
Okay, our support staff spotlight goes to Miss Sherry Johnson. She has been here for 35 years here at Poto Public Schools. And for you guys that know her, I basically had to do everything I could to make sure she shows up. She hates recognition. She wants to be behind the scenes. So all day I had to give her the motivation to do this and stand up here. She wanted to wear a mask and everything. But she's been here for 35 years, and she's played various roles in the high school. We cannot do it without her. She was nominated by our staff overwhelmingly, and she won the award, and very deserving. And her favorite thing about it is having students come to the high school that were just real close to dropping out and coming to her back and saying, you know, Miss Sherry, without you, I wouldn't have graduated. And so that's what drives her and her wonderful principal, I'm sure. But Miss Sherry, thank you for all that you do for us.
Shake hands, and then Joe, come here on that side. Miss Hillary, come on in. Let's do a picture with all of us. Hey, Seth and Sherry, can we have you guys here in the middle? And then talk together for Sweden. There you go. Awesome.
All right, do we have any comments for the public? Anyone sign up? Okay. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. All right, you all stay here, except for the ones that Mr. Kipnick rounds up, and we'll be back. board met in executive session to discuss personnel items. No other matters were discussed as authorized by Title 25 Oklahoma Statute, Section 307B1 of the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act. Those present were the board members, and then the candidates for the open board seat. The board did not take any official votes or actions in executive session and returned to open session at 6:40. Next agenda item is the Poto Public School Board to appoint a new board member to serve in seat number 5.
I move that we appoint Jody Adams as the new board member for seat number
Jody
5.
Thompson.
Jody Thompson, I'm sorry, Jody Thompson for the open position on seat number 5.
I'll second it.
All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Before we move on to the oath of office, I do want to extend our appreciation to all of the candidates that came out and expressed interest in that seat. We really enjoyed getting to visit with each and every one of you and really appreciate your interest. It's an important role, we feel like, and obviously we're excited that we had so many that were interested in doing it. I think I gave you the oath of office.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Thompson? Do we have any?
You gotta see that mic, if you cut that one on right there, we should be good.
Yeah, it's on.
It is on.
Is
so.
it on? Okay. I didn't know if we had the
we'll do
handheld
that.
for while
Oh,
he
do we
does
have the handheld?
Why don't you go up there and do it?
Right over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on.
Repeat after me.
Will do.
Do you, Jody Thompson, hereby declare you're under oath that you will faithfully perform the duties of as a member of the Board of Education of Poto Public Schools, number I-29 of LaFleur County, Oklahoma, to be the best of your ability, and will faithfully discharge all of the duties pertaining to this said office and obey the Constitution of the United States and Oklahoma?
I do.
Thank you.
All right, welcome. Saved a seat for you.
We didn't get warm for you,
I would entertain a motion to approve our minutes of the special board meeting from August 31st, 2023.
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 All right. Yes. Financial reports, encumbrances, and change orders.
Just take one, pass them down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do finances this week. You've got all the information in your packet, so you've got a plethora of numbers that I'm sure you've looked through and are good with. What I'm handing you now is basically a summary. This is a comparison between 23, 22, 21, and 20. So we're taking the last 4 years. Ms. Barnes did a good job of compiling this. This was very similar to what we used last month as well. So first thing I want to draw your attention to is on August 23rd, August 2023. If you look under general, you'll see that right off the bat, that's our carryover balance. You'll see revenues 1.8, and then you'll see 788 as the expenditures. And if you look down, you'll see that's a little lower than last year at 801, but you'll see in the previous 2 years it's much higher. Well, we've got teacher pay raises, so we do have a lot more coming out now than what we had. So for us to be under what we were last year on expenses at this point is really positive considering the pay raise that went into effect. If you look at the general revenue there, you'll see 1.8 million in August. You'll see 1.4 last year, 1.3, 1.19, so that's steadily gone up. If you look at the far right, you have current year to prior year, increase, decrease. So if we're looking at August 23, and then that slash is August 22, you'll see revenue is up 435,000. You'll see expenditures are up 12,000. So or down 12,000. So you'll see anytime you have revenue up, expenditure down, it's positive. So that 447,000, that's net in general. When we look and try to figure out why that's there, well, for us, revenue comes in 3 different packages. You have local, state, and federal. So on the local side, we're up 40,000. Ad valorem wise, we got a 6% increase in our ad valorem from this year to last. So that's your local taxes coming in. So that's a pretty good chunk of that right off the bat. Also investments. We had 2,000 in investments at this time last year, and this year we've got 14,000 in investments. So kudos to Shannon and the investments that we've been doing using OLAP, et cetera. So glad to see that our investments are up. That's always nice. Now, it does have to do with some of it. We got more revenue right now. We got more money in the account, but still nice to see that up. At the state level, we're up about 300,000 than we were August last year. State aid is up 160,000. Well, because of the teacher pay raise, remember we're getting a higher state aid number. So that's where that's coming from. And then textbooks are a pretty big chunk of this too. So we got we got all of it, 154,000 all up front. Whereas last year, they divided up into monthly payments. So we're 130,000 in the positive right now on our textbook money because we got it all up front. So that'll level out as the year goes. But right now, it's a little misleading. It just makes it look like we're doing a little better than we are on the revenue side. And then federal, we're up 100,000. Title I, special education, both of those are up. So overall, 447,000 net as a win is good for where we're at right now. If we look at building fund, you'll see we really don't have a lot of revenue. We got 34,000. We don't have any expenditures, 0 in 2023. So we got 1.2 sitting in building fund. We've got that set aside because we're wanting to do capital improvements. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But glad to see that we've got a little nest egg, and we'll be talking about how we're going to utilize that this year. And child nutrition, you can see kind of the same thing. We've got a nice little nest egg. We carried 800,000 over. Don't have very much on the revenue expenditure right now. So that is going to be something that this year we look at spending some of as well. If you go to the second page, that's the year to date. You'll see we're 700,000 up from last year. Really, until we get October 1, through October 1, we're not going to know a ton. October 1 is going to give us our numbers, so for funding purposes. And then, we're up 700,000, but we could get hit at midterm for 500,000. So you really don't know until you can do your midterm adjustment. So we got to get through October, and then hopefully October, November at the latest, I'd be able to give you guys a projection of what our midterm looks like. And then at that point, I think we'll have a really good idea coming into the spring of where we're at. We'll get January property taxes as well. So from my end, looking into the spring to have some expenditures is probably a little more likely than the fall. I'll continue to be conservative through the fall. When it comes to building fund, we're saving for that, and I already talked about child nutrition. So do you guys have any questions on finances? We're in a really good spot. I feel good about where we're at.
You want to go ahead and go through encumbrances?
Do y'all have any questions on encumbrances or change orders?
Do we have any change orders?
No, we don't have any, sorry. Do we have any questions on encumbrances, though? I mean, we could go through them all, but.
Are there any, I don't know if you know, or do we have any that are abnormal or larger than normal?
There's a couple that we've got some STEM funding, some additional STEM funding from Career Tech, one due to a grant, another one just due to Mr. Fowler's working with them, and our other principals are as well in growing our STEM. And so we did have 15,000 just on one encumbrance just for that, but that is covered by federal funds. And then some of the other items that may seem a little bit larger or unusual. Our Go Guardian is an annual, something put in place for more protection for our students as they're on the internet. And the rest of them just seem usual and ordinary.
Everyone just a minute to look through. If there's no questions or comments, I'd entertain a motion to approve the financial reports and the encumbrances.
I make a motion, we approve the financial report and encumbrances.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Adams,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
McGee,
All right, discussion of vote to approve or not approve the 2023-2024 estimate of needs.
This is a yearly item. This is our legal budget, so we have to approve this. And then what we'll do is next month, we'll have a budget that we present to you guys. That'll be our district budget. But those numbers come from this. This is the legal budget once you guys approve it. And you'll have signatures and all that fun stuff here at the end for that.
Does anyone have any questions or comments with regards to the estimate of needs? Not, I'd entertain a motion regarding the same.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Joe,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the capital improvement plan.
Yep, so that was in your packet. So we have a 10-person committee made up of principals, COO, CFO, superintendent, assistant superintendent. It's a pretty good-sized committee. We've been able to work together, really pleased by the willingness of everybody to work together. It's really tempting as directors and site principals to try to put your items at the top, and I felt like we've really done a good job of working together and trying to get our district moving forward. The capital improvement plan that we have here really highlights a bunch of different types of funds. So I don't think we can just come in and say, hey, our building fund's going to do what we need to get done. We've utilized COVID funds, which are on there. You can see we're hoping to buy a couple of buses out of that. We're still looking at some different options with the remaining COVID funds. We've got security funds. This is the new piece that came in with that $625 million addition from the state. That's $92,000 per year for the next 3 years to POTO. So this year, year one, we're looking at doing security cameras district-wide, which will be a huge win for us and knocks off some of our capital improvement items. We have a security grant we're looking at doing doors with. We have remaining bond funds that we're looking at doing the SEC marquee with. We're looking at getting the high school wing demoed, renovated, worked on, and hopefully we'll have enough to get into the parking lot. So we've got a bunch of different things going with the building fund. Our main item right off the bat is going to be dealing with the high school and the main gym and the PE gym, getting HVAC in there. Now that's going to be unique because it's not insulated or anything like that. So that'll be a pretty big ticket. You'll see we put $750,000 down. That's going to be a big ticket to getting that done. But once we get that going, we still got plenty of other items that we're wanting to continue to work on in the capital improvement plan. But you'll see things starting to move throughout the district because we're going to utilize different funds to do different projects. So really excited about the next 2 years. And that's really what this plan is. It's the next 2 years. We'll be looking at, we'll have 2 meetings a year moving forward. One coming up again in November, one in April, and then every year we'll have 2. Our plan moving forward is to get more of a long-range plan. So my hope is to come back to you guys at the end of the year after the April meeting with a 15-year plan, what we're looking at long-term. But this initially gets us going on the short-term capital improvement plan. Any questions?
There's no questions or comments. I'd entertain a motion to approve or not approve.
I move we approve it.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the pursuit of the school and campus safety and security grant offered by the Oklahoma Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security.
Yeah, so this popped up on our radar pretty quick. It's a $50,000 grant. You've got to jump through multiple hoops. We've reached out and we've got Ms. Alice Smith working with us on this. So excited to partner with her and her willingness to help us. This grant we're wanting to do interior lock. So right now, if we were to have a shooter in a building, a lot of our teachers would have to come outside of their classroom get their key out, try to lock the door, and then get back in. So coming in and making it where all of our teachers can stay in their classroom, secure the doors from the inside, is going to be what's best and safest for our schools. So that's the direction we're wanting to push this grant. But in order to get this done, one of the things we have to do is bring it to the board, and the board has to approve and be willing to sign off for us to try to get this grant.
Anyone have any questions or comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the grant.
Is there a second?
I'll second his motion.
All right, roll call, please.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGee?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Hilton?
Yes.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the safe return plan.
This is Ms. Tillery. She'll be, it is in your packet there.
All right, I'm sure you remember when we shut down due to COVID, and when we came back in the 2021 school year, the State Department had every district develop what they called safe return plans. And so how would we deal with, COVID and things like that the next time around? And we have a committee, and our building principals went through the previous plan that you all had approved, and we kind of weeded out things that we're no longer doing, and just referring to the CDC guidelines that we'll follow. So it's streamlined. It's still several things, and we still do want to be cognizant of trying to take care of our students and staff. We still do a lot of the protocol that we started, but we're not wearing masks, obviously, and we're not quarantining quite like we were, like used to. I think if your family member had it, you also had to quarantine. So we just took out those standards that we're not doing and kept the ones that we are, the procedures and protocol that we're following now. So we'd like for y'all to approve that, because we need to have that since we do get 795 money.
Who all was on the committee?
Building principals, and then teachers, special ed staff, just a variety of people throughout the district. We probably had about, I would say about 12 at the meeting, and then all the building principals also went through it and gave us their feedback too, as well as probably parents.
Anyone have any questions or comments? Entertain a motion.
I move we approve the safe return plan.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, roll call, please.
McGee?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Hilton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the American Relief Plan use of funds.
Okay, that's me also. POTO was lucky enough to get Project 795 funds probably 2 or 3 years back, and you all developed this spending plan for it. And really, we're keeping it intact. Our committee met maybe last week, I believe, with Mr. Kempnick also. So we reviewed it, what we had been spending money on, and I think the only change to the plan was flooring. We do have some buildings that still have carpet, which is not very conducive to keeping clean and germ-free, so we did add that to the plan this year. Other than that, the plan is intact from what you all had previously approved, so we would just like you to approve this plan also.
Does anyone have any questions or comments? Not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion, we approve the plan.
I'll second his motion.
All right, roll call, please.
Adams?
Yes.
Joe?
Yeah.
Hilton?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGee?
Yes.
Okay, and if the
Miss-
board is okay
Ms.
with
Ms.
it,
Adams, are you okay with, you're probably going to say it.
that's what I was gonna ask.
Okay, skip 17 to the 21?
You didn't
okay.
think I'd remember.
You're good, go. You're awesome. You were kind of out of it when we were talking, so I was just making sure.
I would entertain, if everyone's okay with it, I'd ask that we go a little bit out of order and that we move down to number 22. And discussion of vote to approve or not approve the recommended bid for repair to the Poto Theater. Is everyone okay with that?
Yep.
So we received 4 bids, we opened bids last week to repair the theater from the water damage earlier in the year. And the one bid from RMC Incorporated out of Greenwood was is much lower than the rest, it's 76,000. And we have contacted them to make sure they were still good with their price. We have contacted some of the references, and we feel good with going with them. They can get started within a couple of months.
Anybody have any questions about that?
And what was it, what is the repair? I know it's water damage.
Sheetrock repair and carpet new flooring, primarily, and some paint as well. Basically restoring back to the original. We didn't change it.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Not, anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll say
Okay, roll call, please.
Joe?
yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGee?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the activity fundraisers for the 2023-2024 school year.
And I'd like to note that we do have an additional item there, aside from the one that was in your packet. One got added late. We have multiple from the Rodeo Club fundraiser as well. So I just want to make sure we approve that one since it wasn't on the agenda.
It's something you put in your black folder.
In your black folder.
This,
Those are the additions.
these are them?
No.
Oh, these are? Ah, there it is. I think it's, on mine it was a couple of things down, so.
Okay. Okay, you got it.
Did everyone find them? Yeah? Anyone have any questions about any of them? Not, I'd entertain a motion to approve or not approve the proposed activity fundraisers.
I move we approve them.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Roll call, please.
Yocum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGee?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
All right. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve out-of-state activity trips.
So we've got PHS FFA going to Kansas City. This is the first year that they're doing this. It's a really good opportunity. So talking to Mr. Jared about it, he was excited about the opportunity for our kiddos. The second one is varsity baseball team. They're going to Gulf Shore, Alabama's. So this is something they had done back in the day prior to COVID, but hadn't since then. So this will be the first time they've done this again. They're raising the money for it as a fundraiser. So really excited for them to have that opportunity. And then the JV varsity baseball to Greenwood, that is a yearly item. That's one that we've been doing.
Anyone have any questions with regards to this requested out-of-state activity trips?
I make a motion, we approve the activity trips out of state.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Roll call, please.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGee?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the local advisory committee on gifted education.
Me again. So every year, we have to have this approved by you, and for our district gifted and talented committee, you have to approve the members and then our meeting dates, which are on there for you. So if you don't have any questions, we would love for you to approve that also. It's on the, yeah.
I move we approve.
All right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
McGee?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Discussion and vote to approve or not approve board
Let me
policies.
go real quick. So I do have one additional one, and it's policy FE. So when we approve, if we approve, could we please also approve policy FE? FE is our student transfer policy. It has to be approved quarterly, so it'll go into effect October 1st. So that policy was the one that was in your black book, and you'll see it labeled FE. And so basically what we did is we set our numbers. We did change our numbers a little bit. One of the things that we need to make sure we're being proactive about is this is an item that's going to be audited, so we need to make sure we know how we get our numbers so we can justify all of our numbers at this point. And it does say per grade level, so we went ahead and put them per grade level on there just to make it easier for everybody. And so, once again, that's something we have to do quarterly.
Okay, my turn again. You should have quite a few, sorry about that, policies that we need to have approved. We're in the process of having our board policies reviewed and updated by OSSBA. But in the meantime, we have accreditation checks. We have, we're being monitored this year. It's called consolidated monitoring. And because of that, you always need to look at your policies and make sure you're current and up to date. And some of ours had dated back to quite a while. So we needed to redo those. So if you'll look at them, I kind of grouped them together. DAA and through DAA P2 are policies that deal with non-discrimination. DAA simply states that Poteau Public Schools won't discriminate on the basis of race, color, religion, gender, age, disability, or veteran status. And then DAAE is names the assistant superintendent as the coordinator. It's a complaint form. So whoever the assistant superintendent will be for Poteau Schools, they will serve as the Title IX and ADA coordinator. DAAP is just something that outlines the procedures that we'll use for personnel or students who want to file a complaint, and it tells how that's going to look and what procedures we're going to go through. And then DAAP2 concerns the Americans with Disabilities Act grievance procedures, which are a little bit different, but it will outline the procedures that will follow if someone believes we're not ADA compliant. So those all have to do with non-discrimination. Did you want to ask any questions about those? Okay. And then the next group has to do with our school library media centers. So it's EFA through EFAR1. And simply it says that we'll staff and maintain a school library media center that's adequate for the needs of our students and our staff. Media centers should be reflective of our community standards and values, and materials can be reviewed. So that's your first policy there, EFA. EFA E1 is a form that someone would fill out if they wanted us to reconsider some materials that we would have in the library. They would fill out the form about it. And then EFA E2 is a report based on our findings once we do review that. EFAP is policy that outlines the procedures that will be followed if someone complains or has a request for us to review. It's actually lines up what's going to happen. So first they're going to go to the principal, and then the second level would be the superintendent, with you all being level 3. If someone files a complaint, we don't like this material, or they want us to review it, they go to the principal, then the superintendent, and then you all. So that's EFAP. And then EFAR1 is simply stating that annually by October 1st, the district will submit to the Oklahoma State Department of Education a list of all materials and resources we have available in our library media centers. It also outlines our review committee, who's going to be composed of our library media specialists, the principal, counselor, and classroom teachers. And then ultimately states that you all are responsible for what we have in our library. So it just outlines what we need to do, and it's required. So does anyone have questions about that one? I know that was a lot. And then next up is our Title I parent involvement policy. Because we do get elementary, secondary education funds, we have to have a Title I parent involvement policy. So this just outlines it. It's a little bit more detailed than the policy Poto had before, which was about 2 or 3 sentences, and probably not as detailed as the federal government is going to want us to do.
Mr. Jobe, did you have a question?
No.
Okay. You kind of look like you might, so.
All right, and then next up is EMC, which is a graduation policy, which really the only addition is the tribal regalia component that we're required to have now that states that students can wear their tribal regalia, and it kind of outlines what that looks like. Questions on that one? All right, and the next group is on harassment policies. This deals more with harassment of students. FB is, talks about that students will not be discriminated against because of, on the basis of sex, and their harassment policy applies not only to fellow students, but also to staff and personnel and volunteers. The next one is an incident form that they would fill out if they wanted to file a complaint. That's FBE1. And then FBE2 is the written notice that we would give saying that we've received a complaint, and it would go to both parties and outline the procedures that will be followed to look into the allegations. And then FBE3 is the formal notice that we send once we have completed the investigation and are ready to give a report on it. So those are our harassment policies that we need to put into place. Any questions on those? Okay, and the last one, I believe, is Indian tribal involvement. It's GGFA. We do have a really great relationship with the Choctaw Nation and other tribes that are around here, and work closely with them, and this policy outlines the procedures that we need to follow to maintain that good relationship with them.
All right. Are there any questions or comments with regards to any of those proposed board policies, including the FE student transfer?
I make a motion we approve the policies, including the student transfer.
All right.
I'll second.
Roll call, please. Yes.
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 Discussion and vote to approve or not approve surplus items.
Just had a couple there on our red sheet there, and that's all we got.
Anyone have?
Mr. Cochran is working hard on trying that surplus to get that thing organized. It's going to be a nightmare at this point, but really glad that he's working on that.
Looks like we got lots of really lucrative products for people to bid on there. Anyone have any questions, or someone want to make a motion?
Are these items going to be sold, or?
We're looking into having an auction. I spoke to somebody today, so we're waiting on proposal for that.
Good.
You want to buy some broken speakers?
No, I mean, those things probably need to go in the trash if they're damaged, but the plastic chairs and those things that can be sold.
Yeah.
You ready?
Anyone want to make a motion? Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve surplus items.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the 2023-2024 contracts agreements.
Okay, we got several here. So the first one, PCG, I'm going to ask that we table that one. So if we do approve these, please table item 1. They were not able to get that in time, so hopefully we'll bring that back next month. When we're talking the Kiamichi Tech MOU, so that's a new program, brand new this year. It allows us to partner with Kiamichi Tech to help a group of students for us that are special education. So it's an opportunity for secondary employment once they move out of our school system. So it's that transition piece that I think will really help our students. So good opportunity for us on that. Item 3 is Poto Police Department MOU. So this is the MOU that we have in place with school resource officers. So we've had this in the past, it's just a yearly item. Kellogg and Sovereign Consulting, that's an E-rate item, so that's yearly as well. Schindler Inspection, that's 7th and 8th grade elevators, that's a 5-year contract. That is a yearly item. So even though it's a 5-year contract, we can't enter into contracts beyond 1 year without every year approving them. So that's what we're bringing that to you guys for. And then Treat Solutions, I'll let Devin talk to you about that one.
Okay, so Treat Solutions is a company that looks at all of our buildings with regards to custodial maintenance. They supply consumable paper goods, chemicals, and that sort of thing. But they also use this company, Envirologics, to basically look at all of our campus and based on time standards, what it actually takes to get to a cleanliness level that we expect, and looks at our current staffing, custodial staffing, and lets us know kind of where we're at with that currently, if we need to add more to get to a level that we want. They also provide lots of training for our custodial staff, job cards, job descriptions for each area under consideration, and also doing some audits, external audits, where they come in and look at all of our facilities and let us know kind of where we're at. So this is a yearly contract, but we would purchase our paper goods and cleaning chemicals from Treat Solutions.
And then J&J School Services, that's Impact Aid. So we have not had Impact Aid at Podo, but I am familiar with it, and for the last 4 years have been utilizing J&J School Services. They're a company that comes in, so Impact Aid, this is when a school is losing tax dollars because of military, Native American housing, HUD housing, et cetera. So when we don't get the taxes for that, there's a federal subsidy that comes in and supplant or helps fill that gap there, and Impact Aid is what it's called. So J&J will come in and they'll basically do all the work in our district to see if we qualify. And if we do, then we'll get money out of it, which we previously have not got. They will get a percentage of that. They'll get 10% of that we collect, which 10% of nothing is nothing. So if we don't qualify, they don't get anything. But if we do, they will get 10% of what they gather for us. And then that's a moving target. So that is more than what I'm familiar with charging. The last 4 years, that's double what I paid. But talking to them, it's the front end work. Once they come in and do the front end, if we do have enough to qualify, then that number will get reduced after they come in and do all the work, because the upkeep isn't near as hard as this front end stuff. So I really think it'll be a good opportunity, and nothing for us to lose. It's a win-win for us.
Anyone have any questions, thoughts? Want to make a motion?
When we make a motion, could we make sure we table item 1 there? Perfect.
For 2 through 7, table number 1?
Okay, I move that we approve items 2 through 7 under item 28. And do you want
And table number 1?
to, and table number 1?
Okay.
I'll second his motion.
Roll call, please.
Yocum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
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 Discussion and possible action to approve the Ideal Impact Services Agreement.
Okay, so we are fortunate to have Mr. Wes McDaniel here with us. He's the founder of Ideal Impact, and he'd like to give a short 10-minute presentation, if you will, they're an energy conservation company. So if we could ask the board to move to here, because we're going to show the presentation on that.
Okay, thank you. I'm Wes McDaniel. I'm actually the founder of Ideal Impact, and I'm going to do a quick presentation, so I'm going to go pretty fast, but let me know if you got questions, obviously. We started 14 years ago with a focus of putting together a business as a ministry, originally to put $1 billion back into Christian ministry. And we did it by going into churches and paying for energy projects where we get paid back out of savings, that it would put extra money in there year after year after year. 8 years ago, we expanded to school districts. We actually hit the $1 billion for Christian ministry, by the way. We've done over 700 ministries. And then 8 years ago, we set another group that does really good work that could use extra money in school districts. So we've done now over 200 school districts. And what we've done there will put over $800 million back into the school districts. And so that's our goal. Y'all are the front lines, but we feel like every dollar we put back, y'all can use wisely. So we feel like we're effectively setting up little virtual endowments in all these school districts. And lots of stories about lots of them, but where we were able to improve comfort and reduce humidity and solve mechanical issues and improve so many different things. But like I said, a lot of it, we put a lot of money back. So what we've done here, we've been through all your bills and looked at your rate structures and looked at every piece of equipment in the school district and all the controls and everything. And here's what your bills look like. And this is a good-sized portion of the school district, not quite all the school district, because a few buildings didn't have enough savings to make sense to include. But you can see here the green's natural gas, which you'd expect to go up in the winter. The yellow's electricity. Now, this slide, this is BTUs per square foot, and not everybody's familiar with that term, but that's total energy use in a school district. So you want it to be as small as possible. And the first 4 examples up there are some school districts we did, and many people in the industry say the best you can get is 45,000 BTUs a square foot. And you can see, like Louise and Freer started in that range. Calhoun County and Kendall were already so good that most of the energy companies would look at them and say, you can't save anything here. Can't be done. And we took them down to the 20s, which is way below that. And the goal is to improve comfort, but put money back into schools. Y'all are starting at 69,000 right now. And the numbers I'm going to show you are based on getting you down to 37,000, which there's no real reason you can't get in the 20s also. So you can save a lot more than what we're going to talk about here. So here's the numbers. Like I said, 255,000 expenditure. The improvements we'll make, and I'll get to those in just a second, would actually save, the first savings there, 41%, 104,000 a year, is about a B- grade. The committed savings, the 115,000 a year, is what we would consider like an A- grade. The goal is to save more than $115,000 a year. Over 15 years, if you assume 7% inflation, that would put about $2.4 million back in your school district that would go to the electric company and the gas company. So that's our goal, putting money back. But it's also improving comfort, it's improving humidity, improving conditions, helping units last longer. Now, almost every district we do does it the same way most ministries we do. We've got a program we call 80-20, where we're funding the project up front. We get 80% of the savings until it's paid back, and then you keep all the rest. Every once in a while, somebody says they just have a whole bunch of extra cash and they want to pay cash, but that's, I think, happened like 4 times in the last 3 years, so it's not really expected, but it's okay. So at $115,000 a year in savings, during the first period, the project itself would be $491,000. And at 80% of that committed level, if you just save committed, it would take about 5 years to pay back, just over 5 years. In that time, you're keeping 20% of the savings, but you're keeping a lot of additional savings just from extending the lifetime of equipment. We see, one of the things we see is, as we do this, as we pull humidity down, it's way easier to cool dry air than wet air, and equipment just lasts longer. A really fast example, we did Christ Chapel Bible Church back a few years ago in Fort Worth, Texas. And when we went in there, they said, what are you going to do about our sanctuary? I said, what do you mean? They said, we don't have enough cooling in our sanctuary. They had 3 big services back to back. And even in April, they had to subcool the first service to low 60s to be below 80 by the end of the 3rd service. Now, I've seen high schools that have that trouble in gyms and stuff. And so they were about to spend $100,000 to add more cooling to it. And I said, you don't need to spend $100,000. We can fix this. Give us 6 weeks. And they said, no, all the experts have been out. And I said, we're going to drop humidity. We're going to make a lot of other improvements. We spent about 80% of your tons on humidity. And they said, it can't be fixed. And I said, give me 6 weeks. Then they said, well, why don't we pay you the $100,000? I said, I don't want your $100,000. I want you to keep your $100,000. I want to fix it without you spending it. And people are always thinking I'm arguing the wrong side of the table when I say things like that. But our goal is putting money back. So they finally said, okay, 6 weeks. So we signed the contract in late May. 6 weeks puts us mid-July. You know how much hotter Fort Worth, Texas is in July than it is in April? And they could hold temperature through all 3 services. And that's a difference humidity makes. We actually took KWH at the meter from 319,000 in July the year before to 167,000 KWH. And the electric company sent someone out to check the meters. And we get that a lot, actually. You know, so what you see is then equipment lasts a lot longer because it's running less, and it's running less hard in those peak times of the year. And the net here, like I said, is $2.4 million the goal is to put back here. And what we're doing, I'll hit this real quick. I mean, we've got 8 of the top energy fellows in the world. And when I say that, it sounds brash, but when Fox News want to interview a global energy specialist, they call one of our guys. And the Clinton Climate Foundation, the only time they brought their city directors together across 2 continents was for one of our guys to tell them about how you save energy in buildings. And I could tell you a lot of stories like that. But here we're going to start with controls. We're going to go through 178 pieces of mechanical equipment and improve those drastically. We're going to put new controllers on 171 of them. A few of them have internal controls that you can't change, but we're going to go through and optimize the controls. And the controllers we use, you know, they're made in the U.S. They're about this size, and they have an LCD readout so that any teacher coming in, any hours, could set temperature to any level that you've allowed them to do. We don't pick temperatures, you do. The goal is to make it more comfortable, not less. And then also, as we pull down humidity, what happens if you got a room with much less humidity, a lot more people are comfortable. If it's 71 and humid, I'm in a room with my wife, she's cold. If you're cold and humid, you get colder. But if it's 71 and humid, I'm probably sweating. And if you're sweating and humid, you get wet. But if you pull humidity down, a lot more people are comfortable. Not only that, you improve indoor air quality massively too. You save all kinds of different problems in the air. And of course, we've all heard about airborne water droplets, you know, carrying pathogens through the air, and plus any kind of mold or mildew or things like that make a big difference. We do a lot to monitor and analyze the results because as we go through and improve each equipment, it makes everything better. And we're trying to understand each piece of equipment. How fast does it warm up on a 60-degree day or a 55 or a 50 or 45 and going all the way down. And of course, a room facing east, totally different than one facing west. Same thing on cooling down. You know, we will also go through with our team and all 178 pieces of equipment we're going to optimize from an energy standpoint. So we have our mechanical techs go through every piece of unit to improve those. We talked about controls. Zoning is a big deal everywhere. Weatherization, we have a specialized weatherization team that goes through every building also. And then Campus Optimizers, custom software we produced. But if you look at right now, you've got 178 pieces of equipment. Your facilities department, your teachers and your entire school is trying to optimize to get the rooms comfortable. And we didn't count the rooms. You got more rooms than equipment. You got more events in the rooms because events is a teacher in a classroom or game or practice. Ideally, as they do it, they're trying to pull down electricity use and trying to pull down natural gas use. And then the second one would be improving humidity, the next one, because that would make such a difference. But even if you have a math genius running your systems, there's too many variables in there. And then improving indoor air quality. To do it well, you need to know how fast every piece of equipment changes in every weather pattern, which nobody can do personally. And then the weather. I mean, the weather's nuts. I mean, it's no different here than it is in North Texas. It changes fast. You'll see days where it's, you know, one week it may be close to 100 degrees, and a few days later it may be down in the upper 50s. And every time it changes, it's changing the performance of systems and how they work. And ideally, they'd be adjusted every time, which again, you can't do. You've got 14 meters. You've got changing rate schedules. You've got changing rate schedules of seasons also. That's what Campus Optimizer does. Every night, it pulls in the latest schedule from each of the buildings. It pulls in the next 7-day weather forecast. And for every room and every weather change in that 7 days, it runs a 20-level mathematical matrix to optimize all these variables. And then it sends all those changes out in the controllers and out in the equipment so that you optimize those. And then if there's a change during the day, which always happens, you know, the principal secretary or whoever can just push 3 mouse buttons and do the same thing to say, hey, we've got something scheduled tonight that wasn't planned. And then we document everything. We also start training with key personnel first. And then one of the things we love to do is do a free, with any of our clients in service, or some clients have us do a community night where we talk about homes. We don't do homes, but my home's 2,500 square feet. I live in Grapevine, Texas. My electric bill, 7 months a year, is $50-something or less. And most people are paying more than $50 a month for electricity. So we go through what people can do to actually cut their bills considerably that's cheap and easy, just a gift to give back to the community. And we've got a coach available through the term, and then after that, you can continue that if you want, or you can cancel it. And the agreement's real simple. We pay for all the costs. Each month you send us your bills. We adjust for the weather because it's a little different, but y'all can do that as easy as we can. And then we always use your actual rates to calculate savings, and you pay 80% of that until it's paid back. And real fast, I'm going to hit these real quick and I'm done. When I started this, I was vice chairman of deacons at Church at the Cross in Grapevine. And my pastor said, can you do our church? I said, sure. And he said, I didn't know if you'd do this small. He said, I know your background. You did like Rockefeller Center and a lot of giant buildings across the world. And I said, our goal is giving back. He said, probably there's no savings. Our building's only 9 years old, and we got a great director of operations. And I said, we looked at it and came back with 25% basic savings, 34% committed. And he felt like basic was optimistic. Committed, he felt like was a dream. He said, basic's about $2,000 a month. How long is it going to take you to get there? Now, we just started this back in 2009. We were 4 people. I said, give us about 5 months. And then he said, what about committed? That's about $2,700 a month. I said, give us a little longer. You could see here by month 5, we were breaking $2,000 a month. By month 6, we're over 50% savings. And our church, that's a big deal. You know, White's Chapel's biggest Methodist church in Texas. You can see they're saving about $10,000 a month. Richardson up in the 40-something%. Sweeney had just done a 20-year performance contract with a company where they replaced roofs and chillers and units and spent several $1 million. And when we said we can save you 21% more, they thought that was optimistic. But you can see here by month 6 and 7, we're in the 30s. And Stockdale, we're up in the 40s. And Franklin, up in the 50s. Franklin's high school, we started it in August that year. It's down by College Station. We started in August. We always work after hours when school's in session. We clean up after ourselves every time, and we're done every day. We don't interfere with classrooms. And a group of teachers waited for our team as we finished the high school, and they said, we just want to say thank you. They said, our building is more comfortable than it's ever been, and we don't know how you make it more comfortable and save energy. And we said, as you pull humidity out, it makes such a big difference. But then there's a lot of other parts. In the high school, we actually cut the KWH at the meter by 66%. And their electric company sent someone out to check their meters too. Anyway, back to your numbers, and I'm done. Are there any questions? The goal here is to put $2.4 million back in your district. Thank you.
On that item, the biggest thing that Devin and I really appreciate is the fact that, once again, it's at no detriment to us. It's an opportunity for us to see a net gain and not have the investment on the front end. So I think doing these type of things are how we're gonna get ahead on our capital improvements, get to where we wanna get by these type of out-of-the-box thinking ideas.
Anyone want to make a motion or have any questions first?
And there's no out-of-pocket expense up front, right? Is what I understood.
Nope. Their payment comes out of the savings. If we have no savings, then we don't have any payments.
If they can get the humidity down in a building in College Station, they can do it anywhere.
Absolutely.
I think it's a win-win for the school district myself. I don't know why that we wouldn't support it. I'll make the motion.
All right.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. Roll call, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Yocum.
Yes.
All right, and then I think we move down to the related item, discussion and possible action to approve the ideal impact lease purchase agreement.
They're tied together. Both of these are tied together.
This is just the lease agreement. They're paying for everything up front, and then we make quarterly payments back.
Just based on our savings?
Yes.
We need a motion.
Yep.
I'll make the motion.
All right.
Second.
Roll call, please.
McGee,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Thompson.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Could you all mind sticking around a little bit, or do y'all have to go?
No, y'all go ahead.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Do you want to do it right before we go into executive?
Unless y'all
Got
want to
another-
sign
I
right
don't
now.
mind to sign real
Do y'all
quick so
mind
they
signing
can
so
go.
they can get out of here?
That way they can go on.
Yeah, that's
if they
fine.
need to.
Okay, easy peasy there.
They might have to.
Yeah.
They gotta travel some distance.
Okay.
You're welcome, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the presentation.
It's been so much fun to hear different districts talk about programs that they do, how, just with the money that they got back here today, so. I know y'all could do something good with $2.4 million.
Absolutely. Do you want to point out that he had College Station on that map, but Norman wasn't on there? He's too busy signing, he didn't even hear me.
Sorry.
Some people connected to Norman?
Norman didn't need to save money.
Just got too much floating around.
Yeah.
All that money's going to athletes
Prepare
now.
probably before me, so
You're
you
right.
still got Mr. Gordon.
Yeah. Does it have any?
Yeah, you can just mark it out.
Oh, okay.
Well, you won't be board secretary, though.
You won't be board secretary, yeah.
Job, and this is really for clerk. Renata Adams. Yeah, I think just pass that down to Renata and Earl. I think they're the main two. And then if there's any others, we can send them back around.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just those two, just president, board secretary.
Do you want me to fill in who made what motion?
If you could, that'd be nice. Just for the LPA part of it, okay, 'cause that's the LPA part. The second one.
And then you guys will have to execute your side.
Let me Lease purchases.
I'm assuming you'll take everything, just email all the fully executed documents? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay. I'm sure y'all don't hear that very much, where you're like,
Ensure signature.
the payments are only out of the savings, and that's the biggest piece.
I know everybody, it sounds too good to be true.
Yeah.
That's what we've heard so many people say, and talk to all these people. But that's, when you're in
Okay.
Well, it allows us to get this done, which we, I mean, if we have that investment in the front end,
He
not
said
gonna be able to do it.
that's what we call it, like a virtual endowment system. Just put money back, it's gonna be out here for a year, then you can do anything you want with it. Yeah, the top two are up.
You've got one more signature.
Okay.
That was, yeah.
He said that they did local education.
Yep, so Ms. Adams, want y'all to come back and tell her how to save money at her house. That's the key.
That was part of it. They said that they did. Right.
It's always losing me at Lowe's.
Uh-huh.
And you'd think I'd be hard to lose as big as that. I mean, you'll notice there's like 20 people gathered around somewhere, and I was helping some people.
Nope.
You should be able to lose me. You don't work here. I said, yeah, but you have. Next to the teacher and swim meet, all backstage swim meet. There's my daughter was swimming, and she's like, putting on back, oh, I didn't know. I said, I work for them. She's talking about the difference in
Can you
age.
double check, make sure
yeah.
we got everything? And we did have that document. That document is the same one that's in our package.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that. We'll let y'all get started.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, facility report.
Okay, so a few things going on. Couple things we've already talked about, the movie theater. Once we got that approved, we should be able to get going pretty quick on that. I think they estimated about 80 days to get that done, so we should be looking at early December having that completed. The high school gym is currently in the mechanical design phase, so trying to get all the requirements that we'll need to get it ready to send out for bid. It's going to be a big job. The high school hallway demolition, we're looking at a couple less expensive alternatives. Maybe not completely taking out that whole wing, just doing a portion of that to keep some electrical and other connections, fire alarm, burglar alarm, et cetera, without having to reconnect everything prior to taking that out. So
The board secretary just needs to witness the superintendent's signature right here.
No, you're good.
So is it still that far down
so what we're looking,
time-wise?
we still need to do revamps and drawings, and then we'll be ready to send it up a bit. So, but it should be much less complicated than what we were currently looking at, taking out that entire wing. So, reconnecting all that stuff was gonna be a nightmare, honestly. So, trying to, avoid some of that.
So it'd be more that, I'm sorry,
No, probably, closer
that
down to
portion,
that entrance on the west end.
kind of where that whole grid,
Yes.
electrical grid
Yes.
is, okay.
The electric bus charger actually showed up today, so we'll get that installed probably this week. The bus has been manufactured. It's currently at the air conditioning shop, getting air conditioning put in, and we have an expected delivery at the end of the month. So be excited to see how that performs. The Patrick Lynch Message Center that was on the old scoreboard, we are planning on reinstalling that above on the football field house above the concession area there, closer to the field, that end, and hopefully have that installed and ready by the end of the month as well. Surplus auction, we talked about, I met with someone today, and I'm just waiting on a proposal for time and date, probably a Saturday, probably is what they'll do, and it'll probably be down at the bus barn, most likely. We're also investigating some robotic mowers. We're going to get a demo later this week. So we have some big open areas in some of our campuses that may lend itself to saving us some money long-term using robotic mowers. So that's the facilities that we have.
All right. Superintendent's report.
All right, so non-official student numbers. So just kind of wanted to go through this with everybody. So I'm going to go through 2017 through 2023. So back in 2017, our student count was 2324. Okay, so we had 2,324 kiddos. And our numbers come from the October 1 count. The October 1 count is where all of our money comes from as well. So October's 1 count is what we're using. 2018, we had 2360. So we're growing. Fiscal year 2019, we had 2312, so still all above 2,300. Fiscal year 2020, we dropped down to 2277, and then COVID hit. When COVID hit, 2021, we were at 2155. Last year, we were at 2022, in 2022, we were at 2204, so 2,204. So we made a rebound last year from the COVID loss. And then this year, right now, we're sitting, last year, at fiscal year 23, we were at 2182. So the last 3 years prior to this year, we were 2155, 2204, and then 2182. Right now, we're sitting at 2190 for total enrollment. So I feel like we're kind of on track. Some of our numbers seemed really odd, so I probably freaked out our principals a little bit because we looked like we were about 100 down, but I still feel like we're going to be probably right on track, and by the time October 1 hits, we might be a little up, because at this point, we should be past our 10-day drop list, so we should have pretty accurate numbers. So I feel like we're going to be right on track with our numbers. It'd be nice for us to get back to where we were pre-COVID in the 2300s, but I think it's going to be a steady climb to get back to that point. And then on weekly site visits, Ms. Tiller and myself have been making rounds. It's pretty awesome. We started a day in a different building and are able to just get a chance to shake hands with teachers, talk with teachers, and meet with staff members and custodians and everybody else. So we really enjoy starting our day like that. So at the upper elementary last week when we were there, it was pretty cool. All the different teachers were all doing different types of STEM activities to start the day. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And so at the upper elementary, to be able to start introducing these concepts early on is really cool. So I'm really looking forward to continuing our visits and seeing how our district is doing and what some of the cool things that we're doing are. So I think every once a month, I'll just bring some different cool ideas and things to you that we've noticed in our walkthroughs. And we're not walking through for really any other reason, just to get a chance to build relationships and know people. So we really enjoy that and are excited about it. You guys got any questions on the numbers or the site visit thing? Okay.
All right, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session round 2.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
A second.
All right, roll call, please.
Adams?
Yes.
Judd?
Yeah.
Gilpin?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGee?
Yes.
All right, we are in executive session.
I started.
that room.
I should have went in there with you.
They're not
I
conserving,
don't feel like I'm.
Oh, it's like you're coming back.
there's no conserving energy in that.
That's what I was sitting there thinking. We just heard the process.
All right, the board met in executive session for the second time to discuss personnel items and real property. No other matters were discussed as authorized by Title 25 Oklahoma Statute, Section 307, B1 and B3 of the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act. Those present were board members and Mr. Kempnick. The board did not take any official votes or actions in executive session and returned to open session at 8 o'clock. And now we move back to number 12. Discussion and vote to,
We need to, before we go to 12, we need to go ahead and take action here first.
I was gonna say, wait, we can't do that yet. All right. Never mind. Back to 21. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve the authorization of purchasing agents for Poto Public School programs for school year 2023-2024. We have a motion to approve the hiring of Valerie Martin.
I make a motion, we approve.
I'll second it.
All right, roll call, please.
One second. Mr. Yocum and Mr. McGee.
No,
No, Mr. Job.
it was Earl.
Joe,
Yocum,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
McGee,
yes,
Adams,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
All right, now flip back to number 12.
Item 17.
Or 17.
Yep, item 17 through 21.
Okay, we'll get there. All right, after 2 hours, you just lose me apparently. Discussion and vote to adjust the chief financial officer index from 1.53 to 1.59.
So, 1.59 is where our chief operations officer is right now. So we'd like to put our CFO and our COO on the same scale. The all-in, it's a $3,000 difference is what it means, but it also means the difference in her taking a pay cut and her making money to come to Poto.
okay, I move that we make the adjustment for the CFO index from 1.353 to 1.59.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second his motion.
Roll call, please.
Joe,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes,
Adams,
Yes. Discussion and vote to approve or not approve removing Shannon Barnes and adding Scott Kipnick and Valerie Martin to the OLAP accounts ending in 037.
So these next several items are all going to be items that take place with your approval. They might not take place immediately because we still have Shannon until the 20th. So there will be a little bit of time lapse here when we remove, but it gives us the ability to get her off and get Valerie on, so there's not a big lapse in this transition.
Okay.
I make a motion, we approve them.
I was gonna say, can we
Yes.
do 13, 14, wait, no. Can we do 18, 19, and 20 all at once?
Yeah, and I think you can do, yes, I do.
Okay. So just for clarification, 19 would be discussion and vote to approve or not approve removing Shannon Barnes from the bank accounts ending in number 285 in the safety deposit box at Central National Bank and adding Valerie Martin to the account in the safety deposit box. And 20 would be discussion and vote to approve or not approve removing Shannon Barnes from the bank accounts for Poto Public Schools ending in number 246 and number 264 at Community State Bank and adding Valerie Martin to these accounts. You had started to make a
I
motion.
make a motion, we approve
I'll
those
second.
3 items.
All right, roll call, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
McGee,
Yes,
Adams,
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
And now, we will move back to number, I just did 20.
Item 21.
Okay. Let me get back there again, hold on. 21. Just, Discussion of vote to, sorry, I'd already checked it off. Discussion of vote to approve or not approve the authorization of purchasing agents for Poto Public Schools programs for school year 2023, 2024.
Is that the one y'all said you already did? We didn't do that one?
No, I just, yeah.
Yeah, and that would be Valerie Martin as our CFO.
I make a motion, we approve Valerie Martin as CFO for 2023, 2024.
Do we approved her as CFO? I think we just as purchasing agent, right?
As purchasing.
Okay,
I just read it all.
okay. All right, we've got a first. Is there a second?
I second.
All right. Roll call, please.
Adams?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGee?
Yes.
I think that we are, it
There's
says,
no new business at this? no new
okay.
business.
That number was throwing me. And then we've covered everything, all parts, back and forth on the agenda? Or is there? Yeah?
Yeah, there's no new business and we're good.
And we didn't miss anything?
Nope.
Okay,
Make a motion, we adjourn.
okay. I just
I'll
want to make sure
second
we
the
didn't.
Before
Hold
we
on,
get
maybe
caught in
let me
anything
make sure we didn't miss anything first.
Don't anybody run off, we have lots of things to do.
All right, roll call, please.
Thompson?
Yes.
McGee?
Yes.
Adams?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Yocum?
Yes.
All right. We are adjourned.
But
Yeah.
but we
You
got
have to chase
stuff to
us.
sign.